What's up? What it do? Welcome back. It's Auntie Roshana, and I'm back with another one. So, yeah, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a little different. What I'm going to do over here, I want to do a story time. I know my story time probably don't be like a story time you've ever heard before because I probably be all over the place. I didn't take any notes, so I'm just speaking off the dome. So I may be having to go back and reference different things. But I just kind of want to tell the story. However it flows, it flows. So I want to tell you guys how my life changed forever. Okay? Those are some of the things that I'm going to include in this story time. But also to give the full story, I need to give you a little backstory. So, as you know, life be life and for all of us. I've said this a many times. So, maybe about 5 years ago, I want to say, I went on this, I want to say this strict Christian journey. Okay? I don't even want to call it a Christian journey. I went on a journey where I removed myself from the world and I focused on the word. I bought all type of biblical books. I studied the word on a daily basis. I read it. I wrote down. I took notes. And I was very into the word, you know. I wasn't one of those people that was being judgmental towards other people. I was just getting into the book for myself, into the word for myself. For whatever reason, I don't know, was I going through a storm at that time or I just decided to make some changes in my life. Okay, so while I was doing that process, I gave up a lot of things in my life. I used to drink. Wait, let me stop. I gave up drinking. I almost misworded that. I gave up drinking. I gave up smoking. And I also, like I said, I isolated myself from kind of the world. I don't know. I don't think that was intentional. It was just the people that I normally would be around. We enjoyed each other in the space where we were, you know what I'm saying, with enjoying the worldly world. But at the time when I was focused, that's one thing about me. Anytime I'm into doing something, I'm gonna give it my all. I'm full, you know, I'm in it full. You know, I'm just in there. So, like I said, I had to let some things go so I can get clarity, so I can seek what I was looking for. I don't know. Okay. So, like I said, I've stopped drinking and smoking. I smoked cigarettes for many years. And many years. I gave them up, right? I gave up alcohol. And I also smoked a little marijuana. I gave the marijuana up as well. So I went cold turkey. I don't need no counseling or none of that. Anything that I do it because I want to do. It does not control me. I am not the type of person that allow anything to control my mind, if that makes sense. So I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, you know, although everybody is not as strong as I am when it comes to this. When it anybody that feels like they have any type of addiction, y'all seek some type of counseling, AA, whatnot. I'm gonna put that disclaimer out there. But I'm not one of those that have to resort to those measures when I pick up different habits. Because I pick up those habits because I choose to. And also, y'all, I'm a habitual person. Anything I do it habitually. So that's that. That's neither here nor there. But with me giving up all those things and focusing on the word, y'all, it seemed like things started to, you know, different things started to happen in my life that wasn't aligned with, you know, the journey that I was on, shall I say. I'm gonna give you an example. Like I said, okay, one night I was getting ready to go out to a movie with my mom and sister. Like, I had given up all these worldly things, y'all, because I'm focused. And, I'm dealing with my family. We going to see a movie. We hadn't gone to the movies in a very long time. So I get to my mom's house. She's going to ride with me. I get to my mom's house. I pick her up. And she had some Keurig coffee. She had some boxes of them. She was going to get rid of, she was going to give me some. So I had about 2 boxes. And I'm walking out of her house. And I stepped down the first step to go outside. And I missed the step, y'all. When I missed the step, like I said, I had the boxes in my hand. And boom, I fell. During me falling, like, mind you, y'all, I told you I was very into the word. I'm focused. Not to say that because you are into the word, bad things won't happen to you. I quickly realized that, you got his protection now. Don't get me wrong, you got his protection, but you're gonna go through some things. So I was starting to go through some things at that very moment. So I fell down the steps, y'all, and while I was falling, I saw my life flash right before my eyes, but all this happened so quickly, but at the same time, I sprung into action because the way I was falling, I'm about to fall head first, and I'm gonna bust my head on this concrete. Something in me allowed me to put my arms out where I wouldn't hit my face, so I was able to kind of brace myself and not hit my face on the ground. But I stood up. I began to walk. I'm like, I was limping. I'm like, oh my goodness, thank God I didn't bust my face. That's all. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I said that probably 4 to 5, 7 times before, during the process of me getting up. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, because it could have been worse. It could have been worse. I could have bust my head. Da 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 da. Okay. Ended up, y'all. I was trying to walk. I couldn't. I couldn't walk. Ended up going to the hospital. They told me that I had torn my Achilles tendon. I have to have surgery. I'm like, oh my goodness. Never have I ever thought that I would have to have. I've been an athlete all my life. I played all types of sports. I just never thought that I've never had injuries. So I'm thinking at this big old age, I got to have surgery on my ankle. Okay. That happened. So now I have a cleaning service, right? I work my business, and at that time, I had employees as well. But the thing is, I'm too controlling. I've never allowed anybody to just work my business. I got to show up. I got to see what's going on. I want to be in control of everything, right? That's my life. That's with my OCD. That's with my obsessive compulsive disorder. Yeah, I diagnosed myself with all those things. Please, don't take none of that. I hadn't been diagnosed with any of those things. But, okay, so after I did that fall, y'all, that kind of set me into like a depression in real life. It set me into a real funk. Like, because I'm like, what did I do excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied. What did I do to deserve that, right? I feel like I was doing all the right things. Like, why did that happen to me? So now I have to have this surgery. The doctor told me I'm going to be off. I have to be off my foot for 8 weeks. 8 weeks to the person that cannot sit down. 8 weeks to the person that have multiple clients that need servicing. 8 weeks to the person who used to a certain type of money. If I don't work, I don't get paid. That's when you your own boss type thing. Some businesses, if you don't work, you don't get paid. So I'm trying to let all that resonate in now. And, oh my God, so now you mean to tell me I gotta be sitting up all this time. So I was dealing with that for a while. That went on. Okay, I got weeks later, I ended up getting out the boot, probably 2 months later. Okay. I went through that, and during that time, y'all, I'm still keeping my faith. I'm still not, I'm not drinking. I'm not smoking, right? I'm still into my word. I did not let that discourage me. But there was a few more storms. The storms had kept coming, y'all. They kept coming. They were raging. But I was dealing with them, okay? Next thing you know, after my spiritual journey, after I went on that Christian journey, during that process, y'all, I attended a church, right? And I had spoken with the pastor or whatnot, and I kind of let him know some things that was going on in my life. And that was pretty cool or whatnot. I also let him know that I, that I gave up some things and I was trying to, clean up my life, sort of say. It wasn't worded like that, but I let him know some personal things about me. One of which that I smoked the marijuana, right? So when I'm in church service, y'all, I'm in the church night. I'm in there. One thing about me, y'all, I relate to anything through music. I relate to a lot of things through music. If you want to reach me, get me a good song. You're going to reach me, whether it's gospel, country, R&B, rap. You can reach me through that music. So while at church, I'm in the spirit, y'all. I'm in the spirit. And I had just got through, probably, I cried a lot too. I probably was crying. I'm in the spirit. I'm in there clapping my hands. I forgot I was standing up. I'll never forget this to this day. I'm standing up. I'm clapping my hands, and the tears are rolling down because the music resonated with me, and the word also had resonated with me because this particular pastor, y'all, he know how to deliver a message. He knows how to deliver a message. That's why I was attending his church, because that wasn't my church, but I was looking for a new church home. And that was one particular church that I visited frequently, and I was getting a word from, I was getting what my soul fed, if that makes sense, y'all. So, although, a little more backstory. Although this same pastor had been going through some trials and tribulations in his life as well, okay? Where I know you guys have heard stories about pastors in the church sleeping with the women of the congregation, things like that. There had been several accusations and different things came about this particular pastor in the church, women. I did not judge him for that. He's a man at the beginning and the end of the day, but I wanted him to do better as a man of Christ, because you're supposed to lead by example, okay? That's why that's not a position that I ever wanted to take, because I don't lead in that way, but that's neither here nor there. I didn't judge him. I still continued to come to church and get the word, because like I said, anybody can give you a word. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter what they look like, their backgrounds, anybody can deliver you a word. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm standing up, y'all, getting my Holy Spirit out. I'm getting it on. And while the song was playing, the music was playing, he was speaking. The pastor. This pastor was looking me dead in my eyes, because I was closing my eyes and opening my eyes. He was looking me dead in my eyes. First he said, because I'm clapping, I'm feeling, he was like, let it go. He was like, let it go. I'm like, okay, I'm still clapping. I'm into it. I'm like, into it. He said, let it go. He said a few more things. And then he said, let go of that marijuana, da-da-da-da-da. So I went from like, and he looking dead at me. So I hold my head back down, I'm steady clapping. For him to confirm, he was like, you need to, he said a few more things. And then he was like, stop clapping and let it go. I said, this man is really talking to me. I'm still in the spirit, but it just bothered me that one day prior to service, I shared some information with you, and the following day, that's what your sermon was about. Not only that, you was giving me the stare down, and I felt very uncomfortable. I felt very betrayed. I felt, you didn't say my name, but I felt some type of way. So now I'm thinking like, I don't know if this is something that I want to be a part of. Because he had his situation going on in the church, and there were other things that was going on in the church. These are things that's happening in the world, which I don't expect everybody of the church to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Because you come there to get saved, right? You don't come there clean and perfect, you know. So, but it was a lot. But I'm thinking to myself, like I said, I had been reading the word now. I had started getting this download, like, you getting what you need at home. You feel what I'm saying? I started to learn that I am the church. I do not have to show up in this building to get the word or to receive God's blessing or his grace and his mercy. I don't need other people to help me with that, because I have now, began to learn the message for myself. I didn't depend on pastor to give me the word, although he's great at giving it. Okay? So I felt betrayed. That was the second church that I had attended and felt betrayed. A church prior to that I attended, I joined the church, and I think it was the time when my daughter was in the hospital. She suffered from asthma as a young kid. She used to have asthma all the time. He came to visit, and the visit made me feel uncomfortable. If I felt like as if pastor was almost trying to, not push himself on me, but kind of trying to talk to me. He know I'm married. He knew all that, but I felt uncomfortable with this conversation he was trying to have with me. So that kind of made me feel some type of way about that church. And then it was another incident. A couple of incidents happens before I decided that I don't want to be a part of these church anymore. So that was, like I said, that was the first church. Now this was the second incident happened at the second church. And at this point, I'm the type of person, I don't like to strike out. I don't want to strike out. So that was strike one, strike two. Strike three, then you're out. I don't want to strike out. So I haven't just given up on church, but I hadn't been to church in a while, y'all. I ain't going to even hold you. I learned to start praying for myself. At that time, y'all, I ain't going to even hold you. I think my birthday ended up coming about, and I had a party. So I ended up having a drink. I started back drinking. And, back in the world. But I'm still in the word. You feel what I'm saying? Other things started to transpire. So, mind you, I'm still in my funk from when I injured myself. Because, it just changed a lot of things. Because now I should have gone to therapy, but I didn't. So now there's other things are starting to happen, with my body changes. Okay. I started to be in that, I was in that depression state. Okay. I'm all over the place. Y'all know I'm not telling the story right. But I hope I get to my point. I hope I get all my points, Lord. Please don't let me skip one of them. But now, I began to go. I removed myself from the church. I'm studying the word on my own. And that led me to my spiritual journey, y'all. The spiritual journey, and I went through these journeys back to back. Mind you, it's a lot. It's a lot. The things that I learned during my Christian journey, I had to, some of it transformed over to my spiritual journey, but not as much. Through this spiritual journey, I'm going to see how it started. I had to started with reflection. That's really how I started. I started reflecting. Then I started studying. I ran across a video or two where people were, stating their affirmations, words of affirmation, right? So I got into that. I got into journaling. When I started doing those things, y'all, especially with the words of affirmation, I started to begin to know who I was. Now, mind you, I've been a popular person. Like I said, I've been active all my life doing different things. So I'm known and but I still didn't know who I was. I did not know the power that was within me, because in the church, it seemed like the only person had the power was pastor. Seemed like the only person who was really getting blessed was pastor. I see pastor living well and receiving blessings, and people are worshiping him, which I never want nobody to worship me, and I would never worship another man. But I just noticed he was getting all the blessings. Seemed like once I started to get to know me, started loving me. I didn't even know that I didn't love myself until I started on my spiritual journey. I did not know that, because if you love yourself, you will take care of yourself first, right? You're not going to begin to make sure somebody else is straight before you make sure yourself straight if you love yourself. You feel me? I didn't love myself, and I didn't know that until I started my spiritual journey. I didn't know that I was important until I started my spiritual journey. Okay, I'm on that journey, y'all. I'm doing my affirmations. I'm doing that mirror work. I'm doing all those things that I need to move past. One more thing. In the church, I was hurt in the church. I was hurt outside the church. I was going to the church to get healing, to get, something of that nature. I wasn't receiving that. So during my spiritual journey, I was starting to heal. That it was those words of affirmation. It was that mirror work. It was that journaling. It was all those things that I was doing to get to know who I was. Yeah, I'm getting to my point. Stay with me. I know I'm talking and talking. Stay with me. Stay with me, y'all. Come on, stay with me. Wake up. Okay. So during this spiritual journey, y'all, I'm woke. That's what you call woke. Now I'm woke. I'm starting to see life for what it really is. I'm starting to see people for who they really are. And once I began to know who I was, y'all, it was like all the power started to lie within my hands. Some of which that I didn't know what to do with. Like now, I've always been an empathic person, y'all. I'm a emotional being. Anytime somebody else is hurting, I'm hurting. Anytime, just different things will bother me. So I cry a lot about anything. That's just who I am, always have been. But what was I where was I going with this? See, I done lost my train of thought. Okay. I was doing all the things that I needed to do to get rid of past trauma, pain, hurt, anything that was not for my good. You feel? I was letting those things go. I was learning how to block those things that did not serve me well, to remove people out of my life that did not align with my life, or did not just didn't fit in with me. Like, y'all, during my spiritual journey, that was a lonely, lonely, lonely journey. It was like I no longer had to say to people or have to remove people that didn't have my well-being, in heart. Like I no longer had to remove those people. It was like God was removing them left and right. He was just removing them. It wasn't no drama behind it. It was just, it could have been something that he put on them to like maybe want to back up from me. I didn't have much work to do. I'll just say that. It was just like happening. And before I looked around, y'all, I was almost by myself again. Same way I was when I was going through my I chose to isolate myself during my Christian journey, but during my spiritual journey, God isolated me. He put me in a place of isolation where I started to really feel the depression and anxiety. I've always had anxiety, but the anxiety and depression was starting to weigh on me so heavy till I no longer felt like I had control of my life. I felt like I had control of my life, but I noticed that it was dark all the time. It was dark. So I spoke with my doctor about it, right? I let him know what I was going through, that I was feeling a little depressed. And with my anxiety, it was limiting my activities. You know what I'm saying? It was starting to, affect my day to day. When I was younger, I was able to control it. I knew I had this anxiety issue and all this and that, but I didn't know. I didn't. It was never diagnosed, and I didn't know how to diagnose. I didn't know what it was. It was just who I was. So, okay, after me speaking with my doctor about the anxiety and the depression that I was experiencing and how it was, it was affecting my life, he decided, first of all, my doctor, y'all, when I first started going to him, it was just like he wanted me to put me on he wanted to keep me on different medications. He was like, oh, your blood pressure is a little elevated. So that was the first time in my life that I have had heard that I had high blood pressure. So he put me on a blood pressure medicine. So that was the first time in my life that I'm on a medication, okay? I'm taking that daily. And then I added to that when I told him about what I was going through, he put me on two different he put me on an anxiety medication, and he put me on it was a little trial and error, I think. He tried me on one thing, and then he tried me on another. I think. I can't remember because it's been a minute, but he put me on a antidepressant medication and an anxiety medication. I don't want to be saying too many names. Y'all don't want YouTube to flag this video because I want this message to go out. And I want people to know this is something is real. This is real. Like the antidepressant he put me on, or was it the I don't know which one was which, but stay antidepressant and a anxiety medication together for me to take. It was supposed to help to relax me, blah blah blah. But when you mix the two together with people who have epilepsy or who are prone to seizures, you can't give them that because it'll make them, seize. So being that I haven't had any history of seizures or whatnot, I guess he felt like maybe he didn't even just do the homework. I'm not sure. He put me on the medications. Maybe probably about 3 weeks later, y'all, I started to experience. Now, mind you, at that time, I was working in nursing. I had been a nurse for probably 8 or 9 years at that time. And I was working in the nursing field. I know the signs and symptoms of different what medical issues. I know the signs and symptoms of somebody who's had a stroke. I know the signs and symptoms of somebody who's having a seizure. I know the signs and symptoms of a lot of different mental. I just know, when you work in the field, you just know. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I just know. So I go to my doctor, y'all, and I let him know that my left side was dragging. My left side, my arm was just feeling heavy all the time. And I also had noticed that my speech was slurred. So I go to my doctor and tell him about these things. And he was like, he brushed me off. He was a foreign doctor. He kind of like brushed me off. Oh, no, nothing going on. Everything's all fine. He checked my eyes, ears, and heart. Oh, everything's all fine. Which I knew things were not fine. Because even in photos, I would notice that, I'm holding his arm in a certain way. Okay. Maybe a couple of weeks went by, y'all. And the next thing you know, y'all, I woke up in the hospital, not knowing what in the world had gone on. Now, okay, I'm in the hospital. I woke up so confused. Husband around, my mom in there, everybody's around, and I don't have no recollection of why I'm there. What is going on? Come to find out, y'all, my husband said while I was sleeping, I started shaking. He said when he's tried to wake me up, I didn't wake up. I kept on shaking. So I had like 2 or 3 seizures and before they got me to the hospital. He said, my husband, you let him tell services, he ain't never seen nothing like it was the scariest thing. He said he ain't cried in years. That was the first time he cried since he was a little boy. But that happened. So now we trying to figure out what's going on. During this process, while me being in the hospital, of course, They had to, because I kept seizing. I had maybe another seizure at the hospital as well. Maybe one or two while I was in at the hospital. So they're running all these tests on me. They're trying to figure out what's going on. And for some reason, y'all, a lot of times as when you go into the hospital, the first thing they think that you're on drugs. That's the first thing they're thinking. You are on drugs. Um, so they mostly tested me to see if I had drugs in my system. That was the first thing they was doing. And so I hear them talking like the blood work came back. There was no drugs in my system, right? So they're trying to figure out, now they're really trying to figure out what's going on with me because they didn't find any drugs. I'm trying to figure out too what the world is going on because I'm awake, but I'm not thinking clearly. I'm just still confused because I don't know if you had a seizure before, you'd be kind of out of the loop for a second. It takes a little while to shake back. So one of the after they was doing the CAT scans, MRIs, they got all this stuff done, and the doctor came in to speak with me. He was like, so when did you have a stroke? This was the following day because like I said, I was still in the loop. He came in and he asked me like, when did you have a stroke? I said, a stroke? I said, no, I've never had a stroke. I said, they said I had a seizure. That's why I'm here. He said, no, I did your MRI. You have had a stroke in the past. It shows on the MRI. At this time, I'm livid. I'm pissed because I told my doctor this. I warned my doctor something was going on with me, and he blew me out. He blew me out. So had he paid attention to what was going, listen to me, we probably could have prevented this next stage that happened. Now, I want to go back to my story, y'all. Mind you, I'm on my spiritual journey, y'all. It's like every time I get into the word and get to trying to know who I am and do the right thing and be positive and, you know, get to, you know, forming this relationship that I was forming with the Most High, you know, things were happening, you know, things that try to make me question my faith, things that tried to knock me off my journey of knowing who I was and whose I was a part of, whose was in me. I didn't, the God is in me, you trying to damage that, So I thought about all this during this process, like, wow, while I was out there in the street thugging and gang banging, whatever. I ain't no gang bang. I'm just saying, when I was out there doing the things that I was doing, I was covered. Nothing happened, nothing happened. But as soon as I started to get my life together, all these things started to happen to me. Like y'all, I was just being pulled and tugged this way and that way. Like, I didn't know what was going on. Like, why was all this happening to me? Okay, so now I'm in my feelings, y'all. I said all that to say this. We have to pay attention we have to be our own advocates when it comes down to our health, whether that be our mental health or our physical health. We cannot just rely on what somebody tells us or whether they be a professional or not. At the end and at the beginning of each day, these people are man and woman, and we all make mistakes. Yeah, my doctor didn't listen to me. If you have a doctor that do not listen to you, get rid of that doctor. This man could have cost me my life. He could have cost me my life. And I thank the Most High that he had me covered. I'm telling you, everything happens for a reason. I went through these stages of my life for a reason. I went through the Christian journey and the spiritual journey for a reason because I would have been lost had I not. I needed to go through those things, y'all, because had I not gone through those things before I got to the place where I was, y'all, I probably wouldn't have been whole. I probably wouldn't have been strong. I probably wouldn't have been resilient. I probably wouldn't have had those powers that I had, because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know I possessed those powers. You feel me? So that spiritual journey gave me the power, and it put it right in my head. I know I have the power. I speak it over my life on a daily basis. Had I not been doing that, y'all, I'm not sure if my journey would have ended the same. Okay, okay, we did that. We went past that. I'm discharged from the hospital. So now I still got this anxiety. My anxiety is on 200 right now. And my depression is still there as well, because now here I am in another position where I can't work. I can't go to work. I like to stay busy. That is who I am. Keep me active. Like I worked in nursing field for about 10, 11 years, and I decided to, branch off and do my own business because I have a problem being still. That's how I started my cleaning service. So now here I am in a position. I knows who I am now. I got all these powers in my hands, but here I am in a position again to where I'm being set down. I was sat down the first time with my ankle. Now I'm sat down again because I don't know. I got to make sure my mental is right. I got to make sure I'm not going to have any more seizures. So now I have limitations. Now I can't drive. I can't work. I'm limited. Not only that, I have been told that I now have to take these seizure medications for the rest of my life. Like, what? How did we get here? Are you telling me I have to be dependent upon a drug now for the rest of my life? Something that was not my fault? Are you serious? Boom. Okay. I'm probably home for 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks to a month. Yeah, it happened again in my sleep. Let me tell you how good and gracious God is. Although I was going through the shaking, I was going through the shaking. Your girl was going through the shaking. I was going through it. I was going through it, y'all. But he was keeping me. He was keeping me. He was keeping me my mental. He was keeping he was keeping me, y'all. But I was just going through it. It was dark a lot of the time. I was lonely and dark. Like, now I'm at home with the seizures, not knowing when if it's gonna happen again, and if so, what to do. Because my family still have to work. My husband have to work. My children's school, work, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm living in fear. God never, he says fear no one, fear, we don't supposed to live our life in fear. So now here I am living in fear. But I know I still have the power in my hand. So now I'm having to work with it, y'all. So after I had the second set of seizures, y'all, I'm all over the place. I'm in the hospital. He gets me to the hospital again. And while I'm there, I told you, every time you go to this particular hospital, which is the hospital nearest to my home, we have two that's kind of close to me, but this is where my doctor's at this particular hospital. But he gets me to the hospital. Like I said, they love to think, they want to make sure you're not on drugs first. For some reason, that's the first thing they want to test you for. It's like, stop with the stereotyping. All black people are not fucking on drugs. All people, period, ain't on drugs. Because we come to the emergency room, that does not mean we are on drugs. So they're wasting time testing me for drugs. So they're getting them. They just test me. They're going to do their blood work. They did the blood work. And while they doing their testing, I don't think they even did the blood work this time. As soon as I got there, she was like, I'm still lethargic now. I'm still out of it. Because when you have seizures, you're not there. You're in the loop. You loopy for a while. You may be here, then you may be there. You're just in and out. So she says to me, I need you to go and get a urine sample. Because like I said, they want to make sure you're not on them drugs. I'm like, me not in my right mind. Okay, I'm going to go get this urine sample. I'm going to need to do whatever I need to do so y'all can make me whole again. See what's going on with me. So she gives me a urine cup. Now, first and foremost, as a nurse, she should have brought a wheelchair. And if there wasn't a bathroom in the room that I was in, so I had to go down the hall and use like the public bathroom that everybody uses that's back in the back in the hospital, right? All the patients, the inmates, everybody that comes that's in that little wing where they triage you at, they use that restroom. Even the nurses use that restroom, I think. Okay, so she should have wheeled me down there, right? In the wheelchair, not let me walk. I just had a seizure. You know, okay, I walked myself down there to the restroom. Let me go back right here really quick. Mind you guys, I have OCD. Like you ain't never know nobody who have OCD like me. I just have to have things a certain way. I like things to be clean. That's how I started my cleaning business. I went from being a nurse to starting a cleaning business because that fulfilled my itch, keeping things in order. Okay, I go take myself down there to this restroom. Like I think my husband, my mom, and probably stepdad was in the little triage room that they had me in, waiting on me to come back from the restroom. The lady did walk me down to the restroom. No, did she walk me? I don't know. Did she walk me or not? But I know my husband said he remember her saying she was no. I'm not. She may have walked me down there, just walked with me, and walked down the hall with me, and she went on her way, and I went into the bathroom. While I'm in the bathroom, y'all, I had another seizure. I didn't know what was going on. So my husband said probably about 20 minutes went by and I hadn't came back to the room. Um, the nurse came back to the room to get the urine sample. My husband said, meanwhile, he had to walk down the hall and went to go smoke a cigarette. He said while he was smoking, he saw my nurse out there smoking. He said, so by the time she came back, he had been done smoking. She was like, where is the patient? And he was like, she left with you. I thought maybe I had taken her to get some tests done or something like that. And blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they came down to the restroom where I was supposed to go get the urine sample at. They found me unresponsive, face down on the pissy, bloody ass floor in the bathroom. If you know, you know. When you go in there, y'all, the floor be wet. It's piss already on the floor damn near sometime. You might even see some blood on there. You might even see, people little bloody tape or something. It's all kind of shit in that bathroom. It's disgusting. It's disgusting to touch the sink to wash your hands. So you know the damn floor is disgusting. They say they found me in there face down on the floor, bleeding, unconscious. So now they done rushed that, got me all nasty in emergency now. They done stabbed me, blah, 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 got me all rushed up, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I woke up, teeth chipped in the front of my mouth. I didn't even recognize me. Mind you, y'all, I felt like I was so into the word and I was just on the right track, but things was just going on with me, y'all. Things out of my control, things that I did not do. I did nothing to warrant these things. So if you thought I was depressed before, when they showed it, my family knew not to show me that mirror. First of all, when I woke back up, I found it, they got me back conscious and, blah, blah, blah. I'm stable, whatnot. And they told me what happened. They was like, my husband, he knew how to break it down. So he was like, Mom, he's like, I want to beat they talking trash and let me know. It's like, Mom, I asked the nurse where you was, blah, blah, blah. They found you face down in the bathroom on the floor. He said, so now my family was just pissed. And like I said, girl, I get my cell phone. They gave me the cell phone. I look at myself. I got blood out. They still ain't even changed my nightgown. I got blood out on the nightgown. Girl, my 2 teeth was chipped. I look a mess. Now that set me into a whole nother depression, honey. When I woke up and found out that I was on the floor, unresponsive on that nasty floor, and my mouth was like that, I had another seizure. So now, y'all, it was just one thing after another. I told this long story to say this, y'all. I put my trust in the hands of these medical professionals, and they failed me. They failed me on more than one occasion. So now I am my biggest advocate. You cannot put me on no type of medication without me questioning, without me doing my homework. I would not allow you to not give me your undivided attention as a patient, or I will find me a new doctor. I will not have a doctor who do not listen to me. I will never do those things again. I've learned so much from that. But all this goes to say, y'all, anytime that you are trying to do the right thing, anytime that the devil see you want to do better or not be on his side, he will try to attack you. You got to keep your faith. You got to stay steadfast and unmovable, baby. He thought he had me, but he didn't. He thought he would take my joy. He thought because I was in that dark place that he was going to get me on his team, but the devil is a liar. I'm a living witness today that God is a way maker. He's a miracle. He's on the main line, honey. He got your back. Long as you trust and believe in God, y'all, it don't matter what the enemy tries to put up against you, he will fail every time. So a lot of people, I want us to just talk about this a little bit too. So I've heard people in the comment sections, people saying, they say all type of things. Oh, you're fat. You're ugly. I hate your voice. Different things of that nature. Y'all, that shit don't bother me. I am blessed and highly favored. I am here for a reason. I have purpose. You cannot move me by your words. You feel me? God has brought me from a mighty long way. Right now, the stroke and the seizures have left me in a different place. I stutter now. I'm tongue-tied. I had none of those issues prior to me having the seizures and the stroke. But I embrace those things now. I know my smile is crooked. My lip is a little crooked. I look a little different. But I am beautiful. I feel like I'm more beautiful now than I was prior to me going through the shaking and the breaking. I mean, I wasn't broken, but I feel like I'm more beautiful now than I was then. But I had to go through some things to get to where I am now. Maybe I didn't love myself before, and I just love myself so much now until I see the beauty within me now. Yeah, I am made in his likeness and his image. I am, so I no longer, that don't bother me. Don't get me wrong. I still get in my moods and I still suffer from anxiety and depression, but I choose not to take medication for it anymore. I just don't feel good about it. I don't feel good. You're not going to be able to get me to take those medications again that put me in this situation. So, yes, now I have seizures. They are under control. I tried to wean myself off the medications before, and boom. Within probably 3 weeks, I went 3 weeks without taking the medication. This was after maybe 2 years on the medicine. I thought maybe, nothing has happened in 2 years. I don't need this medicine. If I don't need it, I'm not going to be taking it. So I did not take it for like 3 weeks. Woke back up in that hospital. But how good God is, y'all. Every time I've had those seizures, except for the time when I was in the hospital in that bathroom, I was in the bed and safe from falling and busting my head open and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, I took my independence back, though. I don't live in fear anymore. I've been started back driving. I don't think about I don't speak negative things over my life. So I don't have seizures. I don't have epilepsy. I say that. I don't have that. Those are some things that happen in my life, but that is not a part of me. That is not who I am. So, guys, when y'all see Auntie being tongue-tied and probably looking a little funny, girl, lips and this and that, it's all good. I don't mind. I don't care because I am blessed. That's a part of my story. That's who I am. So, with that being said, y'all know my story time was all over the place. But it's just, I've been wanting to get that message out there to some people. So y'all know why I be, stumbling over my words, or why, different little things. And another thing, with me having those, I don't know, was it the Stroke or the seizures. Yeah, a lot of my memory has been my a lot of even a lot of I don't even know was this God doing this either, y'all. A lot of the trauma and the pain that I experienced in the past, I can no longer remember. Girl, a lot and it's some things that I want to remember, but I don't remember as well. But child, so that made me able to get over these humps and to get me to where I need to be during these different journeys in my life. So everything happened for a reason. I used to be upset with my doctor, but God allowed it to happen. You feel what I'm saying? And he kept me. So he is good at being God all by himself. There's nothing I have to do. I didn't even sue the doctor. It was probably going to, I didn't have the money to put into trying to prove it because it was going to be a hard time trying to prove my case. But I did um put in a word, I let it be known. And when I brought these things to his attention, my doctor's attention, me and him we had like word for word. Now, it is very unprofessional for a doctor to argue with a patient, in which I didn't even comment to him in an argumentative state. I would just bring it to him, let him know, what was going on in my life, blah, 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 blah. Due to, and they was telling me it was possibly because of this and that. And he swore up and down that it did, but it needs to say I had to get me a new doctor. And since then, I have gone through a couple of doctors till I found one that listens to me. So make sure you guys have your doctor that listens to y'all. And y'all, when you guys are going through this storm, these different storms, just know that God got your back. If you have faith in God, if you believe, and if he is your I ain't saying the right word, y'all. Make him your go-to man for decision making, for for mental. I mean, go to use God, y'all. Use your better judgment. Stop depending on people to give you everything that you need in this world because they don't have all the answers. Sometimes you have to seek your answers. You have to seek God. You got to seek um literature. You got to study things, y'all. Pay attention to different things and signs and symptoms in your life so you can be in control of your own life. With all that being said, y'all, I know my story time was all over the place. I hope this story time helps somebody, y'all, um, along their journey, whether it be a medical, spiritual, or Christian journey, y'all. Get to know yourself, love yourself enough to know that you need to take care of yourself first in order to be there for anybody else. You got to take care of self first. And to do that, you got to make sure that you advocate for yourself. Make sure that you spend time nurturing and taking care of yourself, however that may look in your life. Y'all like the video, share the video with somebody. If you know somebody who has gone through something similar with even a church or with their doctor. Let me know what you guys think down in that comment section below. Girl, yeah. I love you guys. And I'm out. Have a good one. Okay, guys, I did forget to mention that I have not suffered from any type of seizure in over 3 years, thanks to the Most High. Also, if you or anyone you know is suffering from any type of mental crisis and need assistance, you can text HOME to 741-741. Again, if you or anyone that you know is suffering from any type of mental crisis and need assistance, you can text HOME to 741-741.